Roller coasters are the ultimate thrill machine for people who are looking for exciting and adrenaline-pumping experiences, containing some sort of thrill and fear factor. Many people are afraid of roller coasters because of their height, size, speed, and intimidation factor. As much as I am a coaster enthusiast, there are still some coasters that intimidate me to this day. Unlike other GPs that are afraid of roller coasters, they don't scare me to the point where I flat out refuse to step foot on them, but they have some sort of fear factor. This fear factor is a good thing, and it means that the designers did a good job designing the concept, in order to bring that thrill/fear factor in the roller coaster. I fully believe that the fear factor for some of these roller coasters is a good thing, and positively contributes to the ride. I'm not talking about the type of fear of the roller coaster being unsafe. I'm talking about the type of fear that brings people emotions of excitement and anticipation. Excitement and anticipation combined with a healthy dose of fear is what makes a truly great roller coaster. So today I'm going to be counting down the top 10 roller coasters with the highest fear factor. The roller coasters that have certain elements or sequences that induce anticipation and offer healthy doses of fear into the experience. Of course, this is only my opinion. Other people might have their own interpretations as to what they think is quote-unquote scary or not, but this video is going to be based on my interpretation. Let's get into the countdown. Number 10. Kingda Ka at Six Flags Great Adventure. For this ride, the fear factor does not actually take place during the main ride experience, because once it's cruising through its layout, it is too fast and too short for you to even catch your breath and feel any emotions of fear and anxiety. Instead, the part of Kingda Ka which is most fear-inducing for most riders is the part where the train is sitting on the launch track, waiting for the catch card to release, bringing the train a few inches backwards, and then launching the train from 0 to 128 miles per hour in just 3.5 seconds. This waiting period while sitting on the launch track is the most anxiety-inducing. Riders are sitting on the track while staring directly at the 456-foot tower seen right in front of them. They see how tall it is, while their hearts are pumping out of their chests. I'm going to admit, Kingda Ka's tower looks very intimidating while you're looking right in front of it. After this anxious waiting period while people are questioning their life decisions, the catch car clicks. The train moves backwards a few inches, and there is a spiel that says, "Arms down, head back, hold on." After the spiel, it takes about 3 seconds until the train launches through the straight track. During the launch, the climb up the tower, and the descent off the tower, it is hard to be afraid, because 1. What fear is there to anticipate? And 2. The ride is going so fast that it is even hard to think during the whole thing. If I could put it out there, Kingda Ka is more terrifying to watch than to ride. So the reason Kingda Ka is coming at number 10 is because the fear factor is only before the ride launches, not during the actual ride experience. Of course, because of how many times I've been on Kingda Ka, I'm very familiar with the motions of the ride and how it feels on my body, but for others, the thought of being about to launch is super terrifying. Number 9. The Vekoma Boomerang. This might seem like a minor fear factor, and yes, I know, Vekoma Boomerangs are clones, and are not very liked by coaster enthusiasts, but the Vekoma Boomerang was sure designed to have a special fear factor. While the train is being pulled up its first slope, it is going slowly, that riders are starting to feel uncertain and anxious. Because of the train's headrests, riders cannot see behind them when the train is about to reach the top of the slope and drop, unless you are sitting in the back row. On several different occasions when I went on a Vekoma Boomerang, I have sat next to other riders who were panicking while the train was going up backwards. Before the train hits the top, it starts to move more slowly, and then all of a sudden, bam, the train plunges down the slope, catching riders off guard. This fear factor is also present when the train climbs up the slope in a forward direction. I would say the best place to sit to experience this fear factor at its fullest is in the back row, so you can reach the highest point of the backward slope. Number 8. Intimidator 305 at King's Dominion. The main thing that gives this coaster such an intense fear factor is the spiel that plays in the station that says, "Gentlemen, start your engines!" This hypes up riders for the experience that they are about to take on. The flat grass and scenery of rural Virginia also makes it seem like you are going so much higher than you actually are. The thought of being about to go on a very steep drop that leads into supposedly the most intense moment on any roller coaster in the world is absolutely terrifying. The thing I do wish that will add a higher fear factor to this ride is if the cable lift was slower. The speed of the cable lift pulls the train over the lift hill way too fast, and if it was a bit slower, then riders will have more time to sit in the lift hill and panic. Number 7. Revenge of the Mummy at Universal Studios Florida. The track and layout for this ride itself is very tame, and it is at the same level as a family coaster, but the theming, lighting, and special effects is what makes this ride as scary as it is. The ride starts off with a dark ride section, with a bunch of fire effects and vocals, with the mummy saying, "Your soul shall be mine." The ride then launches into a very dark section with a bunch of mild twists and turns, but then comes the signature part of the ride, which adds the most fear factor in my opinion. After the train goes through the dark section, here is what happens.
We hope you enjoyed your ride. Please remain seated and keep your arms and legs.
Prepare to forfeit your souls. That is only the beginning.
This part is absolutely insane, and the spiel tricks riders into thinking that the ride has ended, and then the mummy comes in and says, "Death is only the beginning!" Launches the train into a bunch of fire. This part of the ride is absolutely jarring and terrifying, and makes this ride as fearing as it is. Number 6. Phobia Phear Coaster at Lake Compounds. I've already done a separate review for this coaster, so I've already described the different fear factors of the ride. This ride is both terrifying to watch and terrifying to ride. When you first enter the park, you see riders going through a slow-motion 0G roll at 150 feet in the air. This looks super intimidating to watch, and it is also terrifying to ride. During this 0G roll, my brain plays all these hypothetical scenarios on me. I get thoughts like, what if my lap bar fails? I also realize that I'm going through a slow-motion 0G roll at 150 feet in the air, with only a piece of rubber, aka my lap bar, between me and the ground. This thought is so terrifying that I have struggled to put my hands up for the entirety of the roll. Again, this really adds to the ride and makes it more thrilling, which at the end is the purpose of a roller coaster. Number 5. TMNT Shellraizer at Nickelodeon Universe. The fear factor of this ride does not occur during the launch or the inversions. The thing that scares people about this ride is 1. The vertical lift hill, and 3. The part where you are stuck there holding right in front of the drop. It's supposed to induce fear into the GP riders. The steepness of this drop also makes it so you can't see the drop, which is also very intimidating in itself. The train then creeps slowly down the drop, and after the drop is over, the scared riders are like, "Phew, I survived that." But during all that time where the train is holding riders in an angle in front of the drop, it is super terrifying, and that's why this coaster makes a number 5th spot. Number 4. B&M Dive Coasters. These dive coasters are literally designed to taunt and scare its riders. First of all, while riders are walking towards the ride, they see this super steep drop that goes at a 90-degree angle. They immediately become intimidated and start to question whether they actually want to go on the ride. Right after riders board the train leaves the station and goes up a tall lift hill. And it's not like on most rides, where the chain clicks and then it drops its riders right away. B&M dive coasters still leave riders in extreme fear and panic as they crest the top of the intimidating 90-degree drop. Riders are hung directly over the drop at an angle, while staring directly down at the 900-degree drop. At this point, several riders must be freaking out, as they have no idea when the brakes will release and when they will fall through the drop. The brakes are then released, and then the ride drops through the 90-degree angle, and then traverses the rest of the ride course. This is not the only ride of the style in this list. In fact, there are 2 others with a similar fear factor to B&M dive coasters. Number 3. Cannibal at Lagoon. The thing that makes this even more terrifying than the B&M dive coaster is that it does not include the typical lift hill or launch used on most coasters. It includes a fully enclosed elevator with suspenseful music. All enclosed in complete darkness. The elevator pulls the train upward just like any other regular elevator that is used inside a building. The elevator then reaches the top, and then the train advances forward and overlooks the entire mountain backdrop and highway. Riders are especially terrified at this point because they don't know when they are about to drop, and they can't even see the drop because it's at such a steep angle. The train then advances forward for the second time, and then enters the beyond vertical drop, while riders go under themselves, sending riders to scream on top of their lungs. The whole experience leading up to the very steep drop scares the hell out of the riders, and Lagoon sure did a great job adding a unique fear factor to the pre-drop section of the coaster. Number 2. The Vekoma Giant Inverted Boomerang. If the regular Vekoma Boomerang model was on this list, then the Giant Inverted Boomerang also gotta be on this list, right? What makes this coaster model so terrifying is that it pulls the train up backwards just like regular Vekoma Boomerangs. But this time, it's inverted at a 90-degree angle, which adds another fear factor on top of the already terrifying way up the spike. The feeling of going up backwards at a 90-degree angle while under the track while leaning forward is absolutely terrifying, knowing that the only thing keeping me from falling face first onto the concrete is my shoulder restraint. Staring straight down at the ground while going up backwards and not knowing when the drop is coming is a terrifying but thrilling experience that cannot be missed. Unfortunately, there is only one operating Vekoma giant inverted boomerang in the country, that being Aftershock at Silverwood Theme Park. Number 1. The Zamperla Family Gravity Coaster. This beast stands at a massive height of 13 feet above the ground. Just kidding. Number 1. El Toro at Six Flags Great Adventure. Yes, I'm talking about El Toro again. Don't even get me started with how scary and intimidating El Toro is. First of all, the drop looks so steep for a wooden coaster that it almost looks fake and looks like something straight out of Planet Coaster or No Limits. This drop is so intimidating that it instantly induces fear and anxiety for the riders before they even board the ride. As the train leaves the station, the train takes a 180-degree turn into the 183-foot tall cable lift. As riders are ascending the cable lift, they can see the drop directly facing in front of them, and they can see how steep it is. This makes riders freak out and panic as they ascend up the cable lift. As the train gets closer to the top of the cable lift, riders think to themselves, "Oh I'm almost halfway up the world's tallest roller coaster, but with a lap bar and on top of a giant wooden structure." And you know how the GP feel about wooden structures. As the train exits the cable lift, it makes a 180-degree turnaround into one of the steepest wooden roller coaster drops. The turnaround is meant to torture riders and make them wait in fear for a lot longer. The part that's so terrifying about the turnaround is that you can see the beginning of the drop, but you can't see the angle, which induces a bit of uncertainty for the riders. Another part that is terrifying for riders is that they can see all those airtime hills in the drop, and they are aware of how insane of an experience they are about to take on. But the thought of it is still fear-inducing. The drop itself is also really terrifying, because it feels like you are absolutely free-falling and being yanked in the air. Regardless of how many times I have ridden El Toro, this fear factor still gets me every time I ride. Hopefully this ride opens next season, because it will add to Great Adventure's already fantastic top 4. That was my list of the coasters that include the highest fear factor in my opinion. Please comment below what you guys think are the coasters with the highest fear factor. Like I said in my other videos, please remember to like and subscribe. I still have very little subscribers and it will really help me with the YouTube algorithm, and it will also motivate me to make more videos. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you all next time.